And hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten Movie Reviews. Today we are reviewing the movie Amos and Andrew. But before that, I have with me, as always, Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
Not so bad. Got my workout knocked out early so I could be on Quippers today. And then with us as well, making us a good triangle today. We just don't know which type yet, if we're going to be acute or unilateral. Got Angela
I think
Arriaga.
we're cute.
I want to be now Sosceles.
Well, how you doing,
Yes.
Angela?
Um, I've been better, but I had fun watching a movie, so we're good.
James is spending some time with his family, which is always a good thing. And everything. So I'll go ahead and switch this over. So, Amos and Andrew, a 1993 film with the two main stars, Nicolas Cage, Samuel L. Jackson. Directed and written by E. Max. I think that's supposed to be Fry. Fry E. But
Is it Frye?
yes,
Fry.
Fry. Fry.
We call it Friday. Mhm.
But weird movie because it's Samuel L. Jackson's character. He buys a cabin in this area to have his own summer home since he's a very well off African American gentleman. And a couple sees him in his own house, but they didn't realize the house was sold and calls
Yes,
the
he's
police on
affluent.
him. Chaos ensues because they think it's the wrong
There it
fucking
is.
person. And there it turns out that when they finally contact him, yeah, they fucked up, so they hire Nicolas Cage's character to take him hostage so they can try to do everything. And chaos ensues, and as was already basically established because of the way a lot of things were, this movie was basically the Babylon Bee, and seriously was a free fucking precursor to modern times, but and that whole thing. But we'll go with Tier. Your opinion of the movie so far?
Uh, I liked it. There were some parts I found just though slightly offensive, but given the context of the time and some of my modern sensibilities, I had to wash that out. But it was a pretty decent movie. Nicholas Cage, young Nicholas Cage, entered asshole territory, and he did not disappoint.
Oh, I
But
mean,
it's still fucking funny.
everyone was asshole in this movie,
Yeah,
except
they're
for
like
the except for the
15-year-old.
hostage negotiator. He was just a 14-year-old girl.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
he was just a little bitch.
yeah.
Angela, your opinion of the movie?
I actually enjoyed it. Tyr is right in that it's everything that's cringy about old white people in an old white neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just because it starts off that whole thing of like, as soon as he's like, I am a speaker for my people. I was just like, oh fuck's sake,
Yeah,
you were
and
not like. I didn't want to have to say it. It's like I was just thinking to myself. It's like because of what I'd heard before. I shouldn't say what I'd heard before. What someone had said to me. It's like I said, because it was something that Morgan Freeman said. I said I like his views on this. And like Morgan Freeman's not the arbiter of all black people. I'm like, I didn't fucking say he was, but this dude, his character thinks he is.
I speak from the black rats, and I speak for the blacks.
And then,
No.
Esperato being freaking Reverend Frenton Bunch. Good
Yeah,
God, that dude's a great actor, but I
Oh, that was
swear,
hilarious.
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure he was playing like three different character, um, a parody of like,
Stereotypes.
well, not just a stereotype, but a parody of like three different people.
Of three different
Jackson.
characters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 3 different real people. You are exactly right. I love that in his righteous anger and determination, he's the one that set fire to his friend's house.
Well, technically, he didn't. One of the people that he potentially paid to go with him did, because he jumped up on the whole thing and started fighting with police.
Yeah, but it was still his dumbass fault that it happened.
Oh, yeah. Just
That was just, oh man, awkward. And then the scene where I forget the guy's name. He played Ebert in the fucking Godzilla movie.
you talking to Phil Gilman,
Phil Gilman. That's his name.
the lawyer?
Yeah, the lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mel from Alice.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
Michael,
was such a
technically, I believe that'd be Michael Lerner.
he was such a slimy prick.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he played a lawyer.
He was
He
such
played a lawyer. Well,
yeah. Didn't stop him from being a slimy prick. The character, at least.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, he played it fucking well. That dude's been in so much different stuff. Like,
Yeah,
he always
been.
he always likes to play like smaller roles and everything. Just fuck, man. He knocks that shit out the park, in my opinion.
He does.
I mean, like, the cast was a damn good cast. Like, they all played really well. Like, Brad Dourif was funnier than shit with his whole thing.
Brad, like, I didn't. All right, so I know Brad Dourif has acting chops, but I've never seen him in a slightly comedic role. Like, everything I've always seen him in has either been horror or
super serious.
Yeah.
He was wonderful in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
He was wonderful, and he's always been the villain too. Like, I've never seen him as a hero.
He was not a villain in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I've never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
And apparently, in the more recent Chucky's, he's been the voice of Chucky.
He was
he is Chucky
in
Yeah.
Chuck, like from the beginning.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's one of his biggest roles.
He was not a bad guy in Urban Legend.
That's right.
Never seen Urban Legend.
Oh yeah, because Urban Legend got like almost all of the grades they could of the characters they played, and they all just played regular people. Like the guy who is Freddy Krueger, he played a teacher, I think it was.
I think
Rob Englund.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the whole thing is like, oh, we'll have to throw Urban Legend there sometime because that's a hard one to explain.
It is such a fun movie, though.
It's so fucking weird. Here you go, Halloween 2, because he plays Sheriff Lee Brackett. He's not a bad guy in that one, from I'm aware of.
Again,
Halloween 2?
I'm about to say I'd never seen it, but I believe I have.
It's a 2009, so I'm pretty sure that's the zombie.
Yeah, I was going
Rob
to say
Zombie.
that
I
has to
haven't
be
seen
the
Rob
Rob
Zombie
Zombie one, because Halloween
Yeah.
2 came out in like 78 or something.
I haven't seen Rob Zombie one.
I was not hyper impressed with Rob Zombie's take on Halloween, but it was Halloween with like way more
Yeah,
than necessary.
Rob Zombie can do good movies. It's just
less frightening and more gross.
Yeah, he went more for violence.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, I like the John Carpenter Halloween movies because they were.
I just wish that
They were a little too reliant on the jump scares, but they were.
Well,
at least
I wish they'd have done what they were trying to do originally. It was after the second the Michael Myers story was done, and they were all originally, they were all supposed to be basically just a different type of movie under the moniker of Halloween.
The Michael Myers story wasn't supposed to go past the first one. They just kept it going because they figured it would because the first one was popular, they figured it would be a draw. It was just
Yeah.
supposed
And
to
then
be
then they
people's
did
fear of hospitals.
then they did the third one, which was Season of the Witch, which
I liked.
which didn't have anything to do with Michael Myers.
but there were a lot of people that got mad that because the first two had something to do with Michael Myers. Because yes, the first one was supposed to be the ending of it. And that's just not the way it went.
I would like the anthology because it was really supposed to be an anthology series settled around the holiday of Halloween, like Thanksgiving, if you will.
What?
Thanksgiving.
Let's not do that. But
no, I'm just saying it was like that. It was supposed to be centered around the season or the holiday, not necessarily the single character of Michael Myers or Lord Loomis. Yeah. And an anthology would have been amazing. Each new Halloween movie was different. There was no interconnective tissue other than Halloween. But we didn't get that. So life sucks.
Life doesn't suck because they didn't understand Halloween.
Yeah, but
it's just that whole
life
thing of
sucks
like
for other reasons.
They go to a whole bunch of different shit and they jump onto trends and everything. Because that's like this movie was almost, instead of the buddy cop movie, was
the buddy criminal,
close to it. That's why I said it was more like the I shouldn't say the Merchant of Worlds, but like the crossover of it. And the only thing I have to say is for like when Samuel Jackson was talking about how his dad worked at a fucking accountant thing for like 38 years and the only person that went to his funeral was the janitor. I'm like, yeah, I highly fucking doubt that. Like, even back then, there would have been
actually during that time, I wouldn't have been surprised.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they didn't show it. Like they didn't show up. But I'm pretty sure somebody still mourned or like go. Oh, Bob's dead. Bob's dead.
Well, he's from New York, and that shit wasn't near as bad there from everything I'm aware of. I mean, I could be completely fucking wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't back there, so I couldn't tell you how accurate it was.
I still just think it's funny that even though he fucking, they knocked out the fucking chief of police, they didn't take his gun, they didn't take anything else, they just took the radio.
Well, Amos was not a killer. Why would he take a gun?
Yeah.
Well, because it never said he had to take it all the way with him, but he could have at least taken it away from the cop.
Man, this movie was a comedy of errors.
Oh, so much.
Like, it was a whole bunch of fuck ups.
It was literally, I guess. Nobody actually knew anything in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
well, okay.
They must be in town. Oh, that must mean the kids are in town. Which one graduated? That must have been them in the car that almost hit us.
Yeah.
Nah, but
then when the cop showed up, it's like when the cop showed up, okay, so you think this is going on. Still, you should approach the front door and do the whole thing. And then, like, well, I will say the one thing that was retarded was, I know key fobs pretty well, and even back then, he would not have needed to point the key fob at the vehicle. He could have done that with his hands up. I mean, I know why it was done.
To give the appearance of the weapon?
Yeah. Well, to go with the old stereotype of they thought because he's black that automatically that meant he had a gun in his hand. And that time frame when they're like, I think it's a 9mm, it's like, bro. that was the early, like the late, or the early 90s. They really didn't have 9mm that small.
I mean, it gave them an excuse, and it also explains the origin of
Oh,
the scene in Boondock.
I highly doubt this was the first time that this was done in the movie.
But it at least explains it for me why it was why Samuel L. Jackson's character of Jim Rummy does that. It is fucking hilarious now that I think about it.
Oh, and the Boondocks, the movie or the
Yeah,
TV show.
do you see the weapon? It's pointed right at you. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, there was some weird shit that was done back then.
Personally, I think somebody found the old story about the Harvard professor that got arrested for breaking into his own campus housing
Oh, that
when he got
was.
back from an expedition.
Well, I think that was the whole point of the ending song, which I know the voice, but this was still around the time when they tend to make songs directly for a
single production.
production. Because like his whole thing is, driving a BMW, gets pulled over and people thought the cops thought he stole his own car. I did like how I don't think this was the first one to do the final or the after credit scene.
End credit scene.
Yeah, end credit scene or post credit, I guess it would be technically. But
that was really cool.
The fucking farmer just chasing after the dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and then Rommel with them, just like fucking running around and having a great time.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to the lawyer and his wife. Like technically, they're still fucking in gimp suits.
She's probably enjoying every minute of it.
It's a with an anniversary gift. Oh, that's nice. I'm not gonna hurt a man from his first wife.
And then you find out she's like, "Oh no! I didn't buy him the car. This wasn't a gift from me. This was a gift from his ex-wife." Just that look of like, what?
Wow.
Oh, this sounds like you got a great lawsuit. I can recommend a good lawyer. Just every goddamn time. Oh. Like, yeah, back for the early 90s and even I would say into the early 2000s, this would have just been stereotyping and like making fun of the stereotypes and the the stereotypes. I mean, fuck, dude, you make this one now, this would have ended with like 18 people dying.
Yeah.
But no one would have actually died.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know AOC would have died 37 times.
You remember, AOC stormed the beaches of Normandy.
I was gonna say, even though AOC was actually at the police headquarters, she would have died 37 times.
Look, no. She was in the cell, safe and sound, asleep, and died 37 times. So that's how that one rolled. What's the old saying, never let a good tragedy go to waste?
Yeah.
Oh,
I loved when they introduced the Reverend and the chick is just like, honey, don't move your nails. She was doing his nails.
Loretta Devine is always a treat when she is on screen.
Oh, I'm not saying like anything against even having your nails done, but just like that was the first thing. He's just like, what's going on? Honey, your nails. It's just...
Oh, no. The actress that played his wife.
Oh, yeah.
The Reverend's wife.
Yeah.
Always a treat when she is on screen.
And if that was her, she can sing.
I wonder. I hope it was her that was saying, but she is a phenomenal actress.
Oh, like I said, like they had a really good, well-rounded cast, and it was Bob Laban, Bob Laban for the Dr. R.A. Roy Fink. What else has he been in? Oh wow, he's been in quite a bit of stuff. I mean, there's been a whole bunch of people that have been a bunch of different shit. A lot of the stuff is like so unknown to most people, though. Unless you're one of those jackasses like, I don't watch movies, I watch films.
My the snobby preppy asshole type. Yes.
Yeah.
The type that I wish for burning hell.
Just so many of the stereotypes of just, I don't know where they got the stereotype for the hostage negotiator, but holy shit, was that funny.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
Because as soon as he was like, yeah, at my 17th birthday party, it's like, this girl was here, but she got sick, but I still had fun. It's just like, you are being a 14-year-old girl. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. That was a little weird. But that was funny too.
Just so much of that movie, like, I would agree with Angela said before we started this. If this had been probably like pre-2016, I would probably say, honestly, pre-Obama. So we're looking at probably like before the 2010s. So getting to around 2008 when Obama first got elected is when a lot of shit happened. Like, you could have been like, oh, this is a parody and everything. Then after it, you know, it's like you could start being like, this looks way more familiar than it should be.
Yeah, this is. Didn't we just see this on the news last week?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Monkey talked about this.
I'm pretty sure Monkey's talking about it now.
Probably. Like, normally.
He probably is, but only because we've said his name like 10 times.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have the type of thing like him to where, you know, he'd magically show up in my chat. I mean, it'd be fucking dope if he did, but I don't expect him to.
It would be seriously awesome.
That's like one of those things. If I know Jack is like, you know, don't say Mr. Medicare too much. He might show up in your chat. If he did, I'd thank him for showing up, and that's about it. I'm not going to antagonize the man. I'm not stupid.
You never antagonize a trickster god, okay? You appease him as best you can and pray he does not turn his dark gaze upon you.
His ire upon you.
Yeah. It's like if I ever somehow ended up on a stream with him and that whole thing, like I would make the jokes if we were making jokes and everything. Then afterwards, I'd thank him for having me, to wish him to have a good day, and I'd go about my fucking way. Like, again, you're supposed to.
You never anger a trickster god.
Well, you can. It's like, from what I've seen of Medicare, you can even make jokes about him. He's not going to get pissed about that. He will get a little bitchy and whatnot if they're not funny. As long as you're at least trying, he's not going to care as much.
Aww.
It's sad that we're going to eventually lose the trickster god.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's just like a Doctor Who moment. He's just getting a new body.
He's gonna regenerate.
He's gonna die eventually.
He's gonna regenerate to a new form.
Pretty much.
Hey.
I mean, you can't expect him to stay in the same body forever. I mean, he's not a Highlander.
That is true. That is true.
What?
Bloodhound Bob was Malek from the Conan movies.
Oh, the guy. Are you looking at the whole cast and crew?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Oh, okay. So apparently, the movie when like Jackson pleads Nicolas Cage never used Amos Andrew or call them that. He doesn't explain it. It's like, but the history of
Mm-hmm.
American pop culture, no program was both as popular and controversial as the Amos Andy Show. The series, which ran on radio from 1928 to 1960, is perhaps the most popular radio series of all time. Although the show was extremely popular, many African American groups, led by the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, charged the characters with racist caricatures and demeaning the black community.
Ah, I get it now.
Yeah, because that's what it says. Like Amos, because Amos and Andy is now most remembered for perpetuating the stereotypes of black entertainment. And Amos and Andy show also constitutes the prime example of limited opportunities faced by black entertainers during the first half of the 20th century. And it's like the title of the movie is a dead giveaway to the satirical story and a reference to the history of black entertainment. Motherfuckers do that shit all the time in goddamn predominantly black culture movies.
Mm-hmm.
They got no problem putting in the stereotypes. I do like when Nicolas Cage said that he was the whitest damn black man, or the whitest damn black man he ever met.
Really?
That was
He
funnier
really
than shit.
was the whitest black man. I mean,
That's like growing up in Michigan. One of my brother's good friends for the longest time was the whitest Mexican I'd ever met.
I was looking at this movie going, this is not any character I have ever seen Samuel L. Jackson play.
Yeah, he was personable and he didn't say motherfucker.
And I loved how he's just like, here I come, Canada, yet he's heading south.
South. He really did have terrible fucking sense of direction.
Mm-hmm.
Sense of direction.
Shit, if he's lucky, he'll end up in a fucking Mexico. Just by osmosis.
Osmosis. No, strictly by traveling in the right direction.
I was so glad that when they had the whole like jailbait scene is what it was supposed to be, that pretty much she rebuffed him as like, no, we're not doing this. I was like, oh, thank fucking Jesus. I mean, I know that time frame, it was kind of considered normal coming out the 80s and whatnot, because you had several different like bands
Also,
that had.
depending on which state they're in, I know that one of the states up in that area, age of consent is 16.
They were in what, Michigan? No, Massachusetts.
If they were in Massachusetts, the age of consent was not 16.
I just know it was somewhere that still technically had an island. It was supposed to be going closer to Canada. And apparently, 3 years later, the chick who played Stacy, the pizza delivery person, was the blonde hostage in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh gosh, oh Lord, Jesus Christ! Now that's just terrible. I have, oh god,
What'd you
my
do?
head. No, because remember she says, Dale, could you eat my pussy?
What?
No.
Oh my
I
bad.
said blonde hostage, not the frickin' one chick that is with her adoptive father.
Oh. What? Blonde hostage?
Yeah, in the beginning. Because you're thinking of Juliette Lewis saying that.
Oh. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, sweet merciful God.
I was gonna say, wasn't Juliette Lewis one of the hostages in that?
Well, that was the second portion of it. We're talking the first hostages when they're in the the fucking store or whatever.
Okay.
It's been like 100 years since I've seen that movie, and the only thing I remember from it is sex machine, eat my pussy, and may I grant you the peace and death that I cannot give you in life.
I
The only
also
thing I
remember
remember about that movie is, isn't that the one with the bar called the Titty Twister?
yes.
Yes. Oh, and
I
if you can
also
find the
remember.
cheaper pussy,
Hold on.
fuck.
Hold on. I still also remember that because if I remember correctly, he was the one who frickin' I swear it was okay, it was Robert Rodriguez that directed it, but Tarantino being in it. Of course, the only scene that has to do with anything of like feet being touched or sexualized, it's got Tarantino as the main character for it.
Yeah.
Salma Hayek pouring the fucking liquor down her leg and Tarantino's character drinking it off her foot. I'm like,
He
one,
has
Salma Hayek is still hot in my opinion. She was definitely hot back then. That's fucking disgusting.
he has an obsession with feet.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Like, how many times has he made Uma Thurman wiggle her big toe? It just. God damn, Tarantino. We don't want to look at your fucking fetish on TV. So just make a good fucking movie.
I'm not a big fan of Tarantino to begin with, and I don't. From Dusk Till Dawn just did not.
Kill Bill is arguably his best fucking movie.
I do like
Fight.
the two Kill Bill movies. I liked Reservoir Dogs.
I like Reservoir Dogs.
That's the only Quentin Tarantino film I enjoyed.
I did like him also in Django Unchained.
I actually do want to see that. I have heard good things about that.
And I still think it's funny that pretty much every movie he's in as a character, other than his brief appearance in Sukiyaki Western Django,
Mm-hmm.
he dies in.
He didn't die in. Did he? I don't think he made an appearance in Kill Bill.
Oh wait, he did not die in Pulp Fiction.
I hated them.
What?
I hated them.
You hated Pulp Fiction?
I did.
You don't have to like quiet down when you're saying that because you're just like, it's like I can't hear you.
I
Not
I
liking Pulp
did
Fiction, that's
not
fine.
like Pulp Fiction. I
I,
not at all.
I've never seen Pulp Fiction all the way through.
Pulp Fiction is the if you're gonna watch it, honestly, that's the ones to watch for Samuel L. Jackson scenes. That's where the whole my channel, small if I could probably get away with it, the whole dead nigger storage shows up for. It's in that one. Also the Say What One More Time. What Ain't a Country I Ever Heard Of? Do they speak English and what?
Say what one more again? Say what one more again?
We Pretty Fucking Far From Okay.
Yeah.
Zed's Dead. What do they call a double quarter pounder with cheese? In France, it's a Royale with cheese.
Mm-hmm.
That was Travolta.
Yes, but that was Samuel L. Jackson with him. Because Zed's Dead was also Bruce Willis. And We're Pretty Far From Fucking Okay was Marcellus Wallace. It's his character. Ving Rhames. Like, I would say give it a watch just to watch it.
You should watch it at least once. Just don't expect it to be okay.
Good.
From what I've seen, a lot of guys enjoy Pulp Fiction.
I enjoy a couple parts of it because, like, There's also the really odd story of Christopher Walken talk about a watch that he gives to Bruce
Yeah.
Willis's character when he was younger that got hidden up his father's ass and hidden up his ass, or the character of Bruce Willis's
Yeah.
father. It's like his ass and up this dude's ass to make sure it got to him. And like, it's a really fucking weird movie. I actually came on it purely by mistake because I found a VHS copy of Pulp Fiction on the side of the road.
I'm not even gonna ask why you found a VHS Pulp Fiction on the side of the road.
Because it's not a good movie and somebody made the right decision to throw it out of their window.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tarantino was the deacon in Little Nicky.
I don't judge people for liking Pulp Fiction.
You just judge them.
I just don't like Pulp Fiction.
Angela, it's okay. You can judge us. We understand.
There are movies I like that other people don't like. And they can judge me if they want to. I don't judge people for what they like in film. As long as they go and watch movies.
Wait a minute. I'm going to challenge that one because y'all judge me for liking Vampire's Kiss.
Only because you judge us for not.
I don't judge you harshly.
I don't judge you harshly.
Yes, but you do judge me for not liking it. And
I don't judge. Like I said,
and therefore I judge you in return.
I don't judge you. Angela, I love you.
I love you too.
I was just saying, I don't judge you harshly. I'm just,
You say specifically that I have no taste in movies because I don't like that ridiculous, irritating. Like, if you hadn't.
It's got a
brought me
couple
into
moments,
it-
but it is definitely not as good as you say it is.
If you hadn't brought me into it, telling me to expect a great vampire movie, and brought me into it telling me that I should be expecting a movie about psychosis, I might not have been as disappointed as I was, and might have even appreciated the film.
I'm sorry, Angela. That was my fault. I didn't.
Oh, that's why one of the things I have learned over the years is pretty much when I take whatever someone's opinion is of a movie with a grain of salt. Like listening to Sinatra tell originally, because I didn't hear him talk to like Ghastly, but to talk to like Drunkle and Polly about watching Nobody, and then finally going through and watching Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, and that's a good fucking movie in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk, the guy Saul from Better Call Saul.
Okay.
Yeah, basically you find out he plays well, pretty much the easiest way to put it is he calls himself a nobody, and he was basically a CIA hitman. And
that's kind of nobody to be.
Shenanigans ensue because of a robbery that went to happen on there, that happened in his home. And I'm not gonna get into too much of that, but they couldn't find his like daughter's kitty watch, so he goes to find the people that robbed him to get it back.
To get his daughter's watch back.
Or so not, it wasn't a watch; it was a bracelet, and he ends up finding out that the two that robbed him, they're a couple, and they're basically just trying to make do in a way to provide for them and their newborn daughter, or newborn child, anyways. So he takes the watch back from that he got as like an anniversary gift or something, gets pissed off, and as he's riding the bus home, ends up getting into a fight with like 3 Russians and a black dude. And it turns out that they're part of a thing that are like pretty much holding this big lump sum of money from like a Russian mob.
The 3 Russians and a black dude walk into a CIA agent.
Well, and then and then it also has Christopher Lloyd in it as Bob Odenkirk's father. Like my favorite scene is before he even gets to the people that robbed him, and he's been going through trying to find him, and he's got his father's old FBI creds and everything. And he pulls out some money in this tattoo shop, and he goes to the whole thing, and he goes like, one guy's like, yeah, those creds aren't real unless you were somehow in there before you were born. And the one guy's just, so it's like, two bouncer like dudes go to kind of like stand up and everything. And he brings up what he's talking about. And as he's doing it, the guy that called him on his whole thing of like the creds and everything, sees a tattoo on his wrist of a couple playing cards. And you just see this dude stand up, and he's got a veteran's hat on, full beard and everything. And he just looks at the guy and says, "Thank you for your service." And he turns around and goes out the door. And as he does that, you hear Bob Odenkirk's here. He's like, "You too, old timer." And then you just hear the door close, and then a lock, and then a lock, and like 4 more locks. And then it pans over the door, and you see that there's one of those little sliding things for the window. You can see the veteran's eyes, and he just closes the thing. And the fucking guy behind the counter at the tattoo shop's just like, "So, how can I help you?" He's like, "I want to know where I can find the person who has that tattoo." Like, because you just see the guy who's behind the fucking counter, like his face just change and go from the whole thing of like, it's 4 of us against you, this you dude, and one guy's got a baseball bat, and these 2 dudes are probably big and bad and shit. And to see the one person who they know has seen some shit that's just like, yeah, I'm leaving. Like, best of luck. I'm locking shit behind me. He's not coming after me.
Bob? No.
Oh, I would actually recommend, I think you might be able to find it on YouTube, the fight scene for the... Oh, God. I almost want to say if it weren't for the fact of us doing the Tremors, and I'm almost tempted to say, if we want to not do Red Rock West next week, we could do that one, but I got to see what we've actually done, because I don't remember exactly.
I mean, isn't it time for a palate cleanser?
Live Honeymoon in Vegas, then we did Tremors. We could technically do one more movie. It's like one more Nick Cage movie, because the last one was actually kind of fun.
All right.
I didn't hate Honeymoon in Vegas. And Zandalee was better than I was expecting, but we did Tremors after Zandalee.
Zandalee was better than I expected, and I didn't. You're right. I didn't hate Honeymoon in Vegas. That shit was hilarious.
And I didn't hate this movie. Like, we're starting to get into the movies to where it's like the storyline is retarded, but the movie is still fun.
As long as it's not fucking Time to Kill and Wild Hearts. Or Wild at Heart.
Wild Heart was such a nightmare.
God,
I still
so weird.
apologize for not being there for A Time to Kill.
Be glad you like. I know that you're apologizing for not being there, but it's a straight up one to say, be glad you weren't.
Yeah, honestly, but still, I'm still a little angry about that. Just a little.
Because like
You're just angry because I didn't have to watch it.
Yeah.
Because for the next one, upon arriving in a small town, a drifter is mistaken for a hitman, but when the real hitman arrives, complications ensue.
You know the old saying, misery loves company.
And it looks like we might get frontal of Laura Flynn Boyle.
Okay.
In which movie?
Red Rock West.
I think
I'm all for it. I wouldn't miss it.
Plus, we have
full frontal.
Dennis Hopper in this movie as well. And I don't know what role he's playing, but it looks like a villain of some sort.
At least we didn't have fucking Willem Dafoe as a rapist. Jesus Christ.
That was so freaking.
I can't say it's out of his character for acting, considering the fact, of him playing Paul Maximilian fucking Schmecker in Boondock Saints.
Come on now, that was a great role though.
Oh, it definitely was a good role, but like I said, with everything he did for that character, the former Marine turned hitman, kind of rapey, not outside his wheelhouse.
Jesus Christ. Why does the gods hate me?
They don't. They just
They
think
did.
it's funny listening to you.
It's funny listening to me complain. Why?
Sorry.
That's like at some point, I still would love to do Sukiyaki Western Django.
And what is that?
Let me bring the thing up for it. Actor. Oh, you were somewhere. What the hell is it? Oh, not writer, actor. There we go. Because I know it's a Yojimbo style movie. Because it's a nameless gunfighter arrives in a town, ripped apart by rival gangs, and then basically he's courted by one gang to help take out the other one, and it's a Yojimbo movie.
Ah,
And that whole thing, and it's just dumb fun in my opinion. Because like one dude does wield a sword.
as they should.
Because of course he has to. Because like majority of the cast is Asian. Like quite literally, Tarantino is the only white dude in there that I can remember.
I love spaghetti westerns.
Oh, it's a fucking spaghetti western, all right, of the best quality in my opinion. But it's bloodier. It's a spaghetti western with death and blood.
I didn't mind 310 to Yuma.
Yeah, the remake of 310 to Yuma was actually pretty fun.
I was gonna say I actually enjoyed that movie. I ended up watching it after.
Yeah. This one, Sukiyaki Western Django was to get how I got into it was on the recommendation from a hip hop group's podcast that I got into because of a friend of mine who I haven't, well, an old friend of mine who I don't really talk to as much anymore because he went super left.
Yeah.
It's not surprising with the area I grew up in, or he grew up in, and everything, of him doing that shit, considering the fact of being like in a Christian school and everything, and the people he hung out with. I was like, yeah, I'm not too surprised.
Yeah. Well, can't win them all.
But yeah, my favorite character for frickin' Sukiyaki Western Django is the chick who plays Bloody Betty. Like this straight up hams up so much shit. I don't care. I love it. Oh, it's so fun. So dumb. But I think we're going to call it there because we have devolved into the nothingness of everything.
That is true.
So I'll actually say I'd recommend this movie. I don't think I'd really necessarily recommend this movie to any of like, but I know it's like super lefty because they'll probably like, oh, it was so racist. Be like, you realize it was made in '93, right?
Mm-hmm.
And besides, I don't have to wake up early, but I got a 12-hour shift tomorrow.
Ooh, fuck.
I kind of volunteered for it because we just reset our overtime of how things are going to go. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind trying to get like
Weird.
about 2 days of the extra overtime per week.
My schedules are totally weird until after Comic-Con. So like I worked 9 to 5:30 today. I work 9:30 to 6 tomorrow. I have one day next week or the week after that I work 7 to 10
Mm-hmm.
or 10 to 7 rather. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is new.
Yeah, for this one, it's a whole. We either do 4 hours before or 4 hours after. It's very rare unless someone is using their flex time and everything. So I'm really hoping I get the vacation that I put in for, because other than the last day of this month, for the last Friday, I should say the last Friday of this month, I should be able to get all the rest. And then I'll still have to use like 3 days of either flex or my vacation, so I can still roll over 5 days, and then I'll next year have like 15 days of vacation, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, would you recommend this movie to someone, Tier?
Yes, I would. Just not leftist.
Angela, your opinion?
I would recommend it. I would tell people to and I'd recommend it to anyone. I would just say understand that this is about old white people being in old white neighborhoods.
Yeah, old stereotypical
Exactly.
for that whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. I would also tell people to lower their expectations. But I think we're gonna call it there. And yeah, we'll do Red Rock West next week, and then we'll see if we want to break away from Tremors for a little bit. Because once we do the prequel, we'll get the TV show, and then do the other ones after that that have two movies with shit, and I can't remember his name. God. Jamie Candy.
Ah.
He's not bad. He just made the biggest mistake of doing the second Mask movie.
Yeah, he was pretty funny before the second Mask movie.
Because, like, Kicking It Old School is not a bad movie. It's not a great movie, but it is definitely a fun cheese movie.
And Malibu's Most Wanted was dumb and hilarious, but dumb.
Oh, yeah. But have a good one this week, people. We'll see you again, most likely on Tuesday, because I should be doing a Talking in the Void, depending on how I feel coming back from the gym. So it'll probably be me eating and talking.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Any parting words?
Go to the movies.
Hey, Rotn, if you're firing it at the trash pandas, aim for the eyes.
Center mass, man. Center mass. All right, everyone, have a good one. Take it easy. Thanks for stopping in. Have a good one.